Hi, everyone. We'll just wait a few more seconds to let everybody join the presentation, and then I'll begin. All right, so welcome everyone to our presentation today, Understanding How Your Marks Can Impact Your Studies. My name is Marie Chantal. I'm one of the academic specialists at the Faculty of Arts. And joining us as well today is my colleague, Emily, who's also an academic specialist at the Faculty of Arts. Before we begin, just a quick reminder, if you have any questions, anything at all, you can always write them in the Q&A and Emily will be able to answer them. Most likely we will go through most of the information in the presentation, but if you have any questions, anything you need clarified, please don't hesitate and we will get to your questions. So let's begin. Understanding how your marks can impact your studies. It's very important to understand that, yes, the marks that you will be getting in your courses will have an impact on your studies because we evaluate the academic standing. So what is academic standing? This might be something that you've heard before, maybe not. Academic standing is the minimum cumulative grade point average, the CGPA, that you need to be considered in good standing for a program of studies. CGPA stands for cumulative grade point average. It represents the average of the final grades earned in the courses you take, whether they are passed or not. This includes courses taken at St. Paul University, Dominican University College, and the Carleton Exchange Program. Now, what's important here is that your average is cumulative. This means that every course that you take at the University of Ottawa will be included in your average. So right now, you're starting your university, you are in your first term, the fall term. Once all of your fall grades are in, your CGPA will be calculated using those grades. Once you complete the winter term and you get your final grades, your CGPA will be calculated using the winter and the fall term final grades. Same thing if you take summer courses. Your CGPA will then be calculated using the summer term, winter, and the fall, and so on. So throughout your studies at the university, this is why we say cumulative grade point average, because your average will be calculated using every course from the beginning of your studies. Now, what CGPA do you need to make during your studies to maintain to be in good standing? In bachelor's programs, students must maintain a minimum cumulative grade point average of at least 4.0 to be considered in good standing. For example, in the Bachelor of Arts in Interdisciplinary Studies. 4.0 is the minimum average, the minimum CGPA that you need to maintain. We will go to the grading system later on in the presentation, but just keep that in mind. If you're in a bachelor program, you need a 4.0 to be in good standing. In honors bachelor's programs, student must maintain a minimum CGPA of 5.0 to be considered in good standing, except for specific programs as otherwise approved by the Senate. So an example of this is the honors Bachelor of Arts in History. Students in this program need a 5.0 to remain in good standing. Any honors bachelor. In an undergraduate certificate program, students must maintain a minimum CGPA of at least 3.5 to be considered in good standing. So we have 3 different CGPAs depending on which program you are in. When is your academic standing determined? Your academic standing is officially determined after you have attempted your first set of 24 course units. Then it's evaluated at the end of each term once the final grades are official. So after your fall term, we will run a calculation of your average, and you'll get a CGPA based on what your results are in the fall. Then when you complete your winter term, we'll do another calculation with both terms to determine your CGPA. And if you've reached your first set of 24 units, which is typically 8 courses if you take 3 unit courses, we will evaluate your academic standing based on what your CGPA is. It's very important to note that repeated courses and courses with grades of S or NS do not count towards the 24 course units. We'll go later on into more details with the SNS or course regulation, but this is something that does have an impact into how we calculate your average. Where can you see your CGPA? 2 places where you can go and access at any point in time are your student center under the statistics section and on your transcript available on UOZone. So to the left, you see your student center. You see the units that are counting towards your GPA, the units that are not counting towards your GPA. And at the bottom, you see the GPA. So the 7.39 is the cumulative total. So the cumulative CGPA. The second place where you can find it is on your transcript. If you go on UOZone, you'll be able to access your student center, but you should also have an application that allows you to view a copy of your unofficial transcript of U Ottawa. So as you can see for this student, you have a CGPA 4.94. Now, this student, this example, the student is in an honors BA in communication. Again, the honors requires a 5.0 to be in good standing. And this is why you see like this student is under the 5.0 CGPA, and you see under there, there's academic probation. We'll get back to this very soon, but this is just an example to show you where to find your CGPA. Now, you'll also notice just above the CGPA, you see TGPA. The TGPA stands for term GPA, and that's what the average is for the courses you took that term. However, keep in mind that the CGPA is what we are looking at when evaluating your academic standing. So that's the difference between the two. TGPA is the term, CGPA is the cumulative. How do I know what my CGPA translates to on U Ottawa's grading scale? So here is the grading scale. You'll notice that we have, it's a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being the highest, which is the letter grade of A+, and a percentage value of 90 to 100. Now, remember when I said the 5.0 CGPA to be in good standing in the honors program, the 4.0 in a bachelor program, this is where you can see that 5.0 is equivalent to a C+, which translates to 65 to 69%. The 4.0 CGPA would be equivalent to a C, which is 60 to 64%. So depending on your grades, on which grades you get, and this is why the impact of your grades can have an impact on your program, is because depending on the final grades you get in your courses, they'll be calculated and your CGPA will determine where you are in your academic standing. As you'll notice, any failure, so the F, the ABS, which stands for absent, failure, incomplete is an EIN, these all have a value of 0. So your goal is to remain in good standing, and to get those higher grades, then you need to be in good standing. Right below that, you see 3 different letter symbols, which are the P, S, and the NS. It's important to know that these do not affect a student's average. A pass is typically the final grade that is given for work terms, for co-op work terms, for example, or for the French as a second language test examination, or the English ESL or FLS 3500, which is a test that's extra to certain programs that students need to pass. And so this will give you a pass mark, you'll have succeeded. However, it will not be included in the CGPA. Same for the S or NS, typically for regular courses. They can be for admission conditions, they can be for different courses. For French immersion students, for example, can have the SNS. The S is for satisfactory, The NS is for not satisfactory. So the S, you will have passed the course. You will have earned the units, but the final grade does not have an impact on the CGPA because it does not have a numerical value. Same with the NS. You have not completed the course successfully. You do not have the credits for it, the units for it, and it will also not have an impact on your CGPA. Something, just things to keep in mind. Now, what happens if you don't have the minimum CGPA required for your program? So you'll see here, we've got three different sections. So the three different types of programs and their CGPA. So for the bachelor program, you need a CGPA of 4.0 and above to be in good standing. As you saw previously, a 4.0 is a C. So your final grades all have to be C and above, for example. So that when calculated together, you get that CGPA of 4.0. If your CGPA is between 3 and 3.99, this is what we call academic probation. I will get to what academic probation is in the next slide, but this is something that can happen to your academic standing depending on your CGPA. And then if your CGPA ever falls below a 2.99, this is what we call a faculty withdrawal. This means that you can no longer continue your studies in your program at the Faculty of Arts. And so it's really important to watch out for your CGPA, for your average, for the final grades in your classes, because if you do fall below that 2.99, you will not be able to continue in your program. Whereas the academic probation will allow you to continue in your program to improve your grades. The honors bachelor program, so this is the 5.0 and above to be in good standing. Once again, if your CGPA falls below that 5.0, as long as it's between 3 and 4.99, this is academic probation. So remember a few slides back, we had that transcript where you can see that this student CGPA is at 4.94 and they've been placed on academic probation. This is what it means. So if a student is in an honors program, falls below the 5.0, is between 3 and 4.99, academic probation. CGPA falls below 2.99, once again, faculty withdrawal. For the certificate program, it's a CGPA of 3.5 and above to be in good standing, 3.0 and 3.49 to be on academic probation. And once again, below 2.99, well, below 3.0, 2.99 and below, faculty withdrawal. So what does it mean to be on academic probation? You can still enroll in courses for the next academic year. And then we will reevaluate your academic standing once you've attempted at least 24 more course units. So remember when we said that the first evaluation of your academic standing will take place once you've completed your first set of 24 units? If you're placed on probation, then you will have another set of 24 units before we make the decision to lift probation. So if at the end of your probationary period, you reach the minimum CGPA required for your program, your probation will be lifted and you will be in good academic standing. Once again, 24 units, 8 3-unit courses. So typically students will do that in 2 semesters if they take 5 courses each term. If for some reason you decide to take courses part-time, you might have another semester. So that decision to lift probation will be made after you reach 24 more course units. Once again, you have to be careful. If your CGPA drops below 3.0 at any time, this is a faculty withdrawal. Now, probation, academic probation, it might seem intimidating, might seem scary as like this term. It means that you're not there yet. You're not at the required CGPA, and we want you to know that you're not there. So that's why we reach out to you and we tell you that you're placed on probation and you've got those 24 more course units to improve your grades, to improve your CGPA. So what can you do to improve your CGPA? One of the things that you can do is to meet with an academic specialist to help you navigate any academic issues you may be having with your courses. And together, we can build a plan on how to best succeed move forward. Don't wait until your final grades are back. The earlier you meet, the better. So this means that, if something's going on and you're not sure like that it's going too well, or you want to discuss your final grades, your academic standing, where you're at with your CGPA, don't wait. You can always book an appointment with an academic specialist. And that's myself, my colleague Emily, that's here with us today. And we also have two more academic specialists at the faculty, Anne and Mark. So all of us, we're a team that's here to help support you and build this plan, to discuss and see what would be best for you. And we also want to meet with you because we want to re-explain probation, like where you sit at, what's going on, what's the next step, what are your options. So don't wait. If you have questions or if you just want to discuss this, book an appointment with us. We'll be more than happy to help you. Second thing that you can do, meet with a student mentor for help with time management, study skills, or other areas of concern you may have. Student mentors are students who have been in your position in that transition from high school, or if you are a mature student, starting university, that transition to being on campus or at home with your online courses. Those students can help you with a lot of tips and tricks. They also offer study groups, they have workshops. So there are a number of resources to help you through this and throughout your studies. So I would highly encourage you to book an appointment with a mentor, or if there is a study group for one of your classes, attend it. This is something that will help you. Third way to increase your CGPA would be repeating a course. Now, any course that you have failed, for example, if you repeat it, that may be a good way of increasing your CGPA, since the final grade that you will earn this second time, just recent time that you will take the course, will replace that first attempt in the calculation of your CGPA. So you may repeat a course whether you've passed it or failed it, but be careful because you can only repeat a course once. So for example, if it didn't really go that well in a fall course, and then you're worried because it does have an impact on your CGPA, and you decide to repeat it in the winter or the next year, the new grade, the most recent grade, will be the one that's used in the calculation of your CGPA. So once again, if you're not sure about repeating a course or not, the impact that it will have on your CGPA, come see us. This is the type of thing that we would take a look at and strategize with you if it is something that will help your CGPA. And if you need help or guidance, I know I've said it multiple times, but please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We will be more than happy to help you. So you can always reach out to us by email at arts@uottawa.ca. You can add yourself to the QList queue to speak with someone via Microsoft Teams. You can book an appointment virtually, telephone, even an in-person appointment with us. As you can see in this image, this is our office in Simard Hall, Simard 128, so 128, sorry about my French there. And so if you have any questions, anything at all, don't hesitate, come see us and we will help you. And that's it for the presentation, for the information that we wanted to share with you today. Emily, were there any questions that came up in the Q&A often that we should maybe go over?
No, actually, there weren't any questions that we need to go over, so it was good.
Perfect. I would like to thank everybody for being with us here today. If there's anything that's unclear, if there's anything you would like to go over, if you'd like to book an appointment, I invite you to do so. And I will wish everybody a great day. Thank you.